I tried to make this video a few minutes ago, and I quit because I missed about 800 balls in a row. Now I'm starting to back up and just saying, I don't care if I miss 800 balls in a row. If you're watching this video to see somebody make pull shots, I hate to tell you, but you're watching the wrong video. In fact, I don't really know why anyone would ever watch this. Some old guy yammering about pool and, missing half the shots he shoots at. But hey, it's your life, right? The video that I wanted to make is about physical style of shooting, physical elements of shooting in many cases. And what I started out with was it, I don't have one. I've never had anything consistent. At least since I started paying attention to this kind of thing, which would have been about 20 years ago, I have not had a consistent physical style. At least since I've got this table. I might have had something consistent in the old bar pool days and things like that. But that was so long ago that I just don't recall. Well, you can watch, you can find a video or a film of somebody, like Efren, for example. Find something from the 80s and it still looks like Efren shooting. Same, for the most part, the same physical style. Jeremy Jones, lots of people that have been playing for a very long time play the same. They have the same mannerisms, the same physical style, like I said. Mike Siegel, Nick Varner. I don't know if Nick plays that much anymore. But if he did, I bet you could tell right off the bat that it was Nick shooting the shot. Like if all you saw was a silhouette or some bullshit like that. And that ball's in my way. But I don't think I have anything like that. And this has been a problem for me. I want to have a more consistent physical style. But my problem is I miss 3 shots in a row, and I think, I got to change something. This thing I've been doing isn't working anymore. And this has been pretty much the story of my life. As far as pool goes, I'll discover something, some physical element, or a flat-out entire physical style imitating some player. And it works great. I'll make a video, and then the next day or whenever, it completely falls apart. It doesn't just miss a shot. It completely falls apart. Like, what in the hell could I have been thinking by doing that particular thing? Or imitating that particular play? This has happened a lot. Another thing about me, if you're new to the channel, and the channel's new, so you are new, is not only can I not shoot as well when I'm talking, but this cat, when this cat touches my foot, I'm almost guaranteed to miss the shot. And that's just the way it is. This cat ignores me until I get down here and start talking to the camera, because she thinks I'm talking to her. I'm not. But she thinks I'm talking to her, so she's all over my feet all the time. Oops. See? So I've got a whiteboard. It's right under the camera. You can't see it. And on one side of the whiteboard, I have some just notes I've been taking about. I've been mapping out some of my banks. And on this side of the whiteboard, I have the names of a whole bunch of players who I respect as players, or they have some physical element that I like and want to give it a try. And so I have all these names, and they all have arrows pointing to me, to my name. And I guess I thought when I first started writing all these down, I thought there would be 3 or 4. I bet I've got 20. I bet I've got 20 written down there. That I knew there was a kiss on that shot. I'm trying to figure out if I want to get into 2001 or not. If I want to talk about 2001. I think I should, because it'll give just a little bit of context if anybody's still awake. In 2001, on Valentine's Day, I had a pretty shitty night. I was upstairs, and then my phone rang, and I lost my job. Been laid off. They didn't they had no need for my services anymore. Whatever the wording was on it. But I was jobless. About 2 hours later, still Valentine's Day, my sister came over to pick up her niece. I've been tutoring her niece in math. My sister came over, and she found a lump in her breast. So I'm like, yeah, okay. So I don't have a job anymore, and my sister's dying of cancer, which is what my brain was thinking at the time. Yeah, not a very good night. As it turned out, I've had other jobs, and my sister was fine. But from that Valentine's Day, and this is the part nobody believes, okay? It was basically me in my basement and playing this guy Kelly at the bank shot in Louisville. I think he's passed on now. But I did not miss a ball for 4 days. Didn't miss a ball. Could not think about any of the bullshit that was going on in my life. And every bit of my brain, 100% of my brain, was on pool. And making shots and concentrating on the shots so I wouldn't have to think about any of the other stuff. This was a 2001 Valentine's Day, and then the 4 days after Valentine's Day. That's just the way that it worked out. Now I was at the bank shot, and I was actually waiting for that Kelly guy I was talking about. And he wasn't there yet, and I was just shooting and not missing a ball. I played 9-ball back then. I played almost exclusively 9-ball back then. At the table behind me was Truman Hogue, and he was also just practicing. And he was practicing banks, which is when you're Truman Hogue, you bank balls because you're one of the best in the world at it. And I got the great idea that I would see if whatever I was doing shooting wise, my concentration and all that, if that would translate itself to banks. So I gave myself ball in hand on this cross side. Watch that, kitty. Watch that, kitty. And I tried to do the exact same kind of stuff that I've been doing on my regular shots, and I missed it. That was bad enough. What was worse was that whatever I had been doing to make all those regular shots, 9-ball, for all that time, I completely lost it. With that one bank shot, I lost the ability to make more than 2 or 3 shots in a row at 9-ball. It's an average. I don't know exactly what it was, but I absolutely wasn't shooting nearly as well as I had been. That was about my birthday, 2001, and I bet the next 5 years trying to get it back, trying to get that dead stroke back, working partly on my mental stuff, my concentration, things like that, and also a lot of physical stuff. Because that was about the time I realized that I had no idea what physically I had been doing. I had no idea if I was down below, if I was up high, short bridge, longer bridge, how many practice strokes, no idea. And I said, well, that can't be good. So I tried all these different things, all these different physical elements and physical styles, trying to stumble upon the one that would give me that dead stroke back. I'm not going to say I wasted my time doing that. I never did find what I was looking for, though. I think I did find the old physical style, but without the concentration that I had back in 2001 during that really troubling time. That physical style, it wasn't nearly as good. But it kind of, I realized how much fun it was for me to just try different shit. I can mess with a really short bridge, for example, think of like an Allen Hopkins bridge. And I can mess with that, and it's fun for me, especially if the ball goes in, because it's like, I don't know, it's something different or whatever. It's so hard to describe, but I'm so used to being able to just switch something up, and it almost always works pretty well for a while. That right there was what I call the dippy stroke. There's a movie called Pool Hall Junkies. If you're watching this, you've probably seen it. And the star of the movie had this dipping motion on the stroke. That's what that there just was. That style for me works very well on banks. I went to Derby one year with it and had one of my best tournaments ever, just shooting that style. It doesn't work for straight-in shots. It doesn't work nearly as well for regular pool. These days I mostly play bank pool and one pocket. And dippy works great for banks. Some other styles that I have written up there work great for regular shots, but I can't make a ball with bank pool, with banking it. I'm looking at, the Corey, I got Corey Duell over there. Corey's a weird name to have up there because he switched his styles quite a bit. But the Corey that I have written up there is one of the first ones that I ever noticed, and it was maybe more like Danny Smith than anybody else, but it was when Corey used to do this. It would come down on the line, and everything was pendulum perfect. Everything he shot was pendulum perfect. And that's why I have Corey's name written up there. That's the one I'm talking about. So I spent the last 20 years, well, the first 5 out of those 20 years was just trying to get dead stroke back, trying to find that particular style. Ever since then, I've been messing with different styles and stuff, trying to get something that will work for regular shots and bank shots. If I could get something that will work with combinations too, that would just be totally awesome, icing on the cake type of stuff. And there have been a few times where I thought that hey, this worked for, a bank shot and a good game in one pocket. And I thought, well, mate, I'm getting close, I've got it, whatever. And it's falling apart. And again, that's been the story of my life, as things have been falling apart, pool-wise, for a very long time. But that's what I do, is I like messing with stuff. I like messing with my own mental attitude as much as I can change that. Concentrate on the accuracy of a shot. Concentrate on the layout of the shot, of the game. Try to concentrate on absolutely nothing and just let my subconscious shoot. And then all the physical stuff, all the different little physical things that I have written up there will at times sneak in. I think it was probably about 10 years ago that I started thinking that I'll have all these components and then the cream will rise to the top. Does that make sense? I won't imitate piggy banks, for example, but maybe I would have the really super solid stance that piggy banks has. And maybe I might pair that up with that downward stroke I was just talking about, the dippy stroke. Or Grady Matthews used to really be up and really on the ball, There was no doubt that he was going to hit it accurately. That he was going to hit this ball accurately. So my thinking was I might take, instead of flat out imitating Alex, maybe all I have that imitates Alex is a short straight backswing, or my arm further back before I start that backswing. And pair that up with something else from one of the other styles. And I started thinking, well, maybe that'll happen. Maybe the cream will rise to the top, And I could have a style that's the Dave style, made, you know, it's all my own, made up of bits and pieces of all these other things. That has not happened yet. I haven't given up on it. But it hasn't happened yet. So last night, one of our local guys, a guy from Louisville named Louis DeMarco, he won the U.S. Open bank pool. He won it. Now Louis, we're not friends, you know, but he probably knows my name. I know his. We played a couple times. For as long as I've been in Louisville, he's been the best all-around player in Louisville. It's always like Truman could bank better, things like that. But Louis has always been the best all-around player, and was always a very good banker. So last night, he won the U.S. Open bank pool. Good for him, Jesus, you know. I wrote his name down on my board because although I had copied what I thought was Lewis's style a couple times in the past, I didn't have what I believe is the defining characteristic of the Lewis style. What I had was a little bit more squared off and centered, more of the body centered instead of just the head centered, and more forward and more leaning. I had those things. Those were correct for back then. Lewis took second in Derby Banks 2 years in a row, I think, back at the turn of the century. But what he's doing now is just back and then a jab. And I think that he's controlling his speed. Bank shots are almost always shot at firm speed, but not all the time. I think he's controlling his speed just by how far he pulls back. If he pulls back 4 inches and shoves his arm forward. But he can have the same shot. If for some reason he wants to shoot harder, he can pull back a foot and shove his arm forward. That's why I wrote his name down there, was for that. Because I found that I can be pretty accurate with that, doing that. Not getting all flamboyant stuff. I have Bustamante written up on my board because of all this flamboyant arm movement stuff. I do not have everything that Boosty does when he shoots. He has an awful lot of moving parts. All I have in mind for the Boosty style is just up and down on the backswing kind of. Like a really, really fluid motion. Really, really fluid motion. But with this DeMarco, it's just back, more or less straight, and a jab forward. It's a lot like the Alex style in that regard, although Alex is way down lower on the cue. Alex is also way further back on the shot, I believe, so you can see the shot line, or it turns out that would help him to see the shot line more than somebody that's up a little bit closer. And Alex is probably probably my second favorite player on earth, so I'm never going to say anything bad about him, I guess, unless he starts eating babies or something, which I doubt. I don't know, they eat babies in Canada? I don't know, I was going to make a video and instead I've just yammered. But that's what I do, is I just freaking yammer. Maybe I could do like a separate video about each one of these things I have written up here. Probably could stretch them out. Stretch out each little stupid little topic, each little physical element, and just talk about, well, this is what I found out about this. These are the good points, the bad points, whatever. Probably not going to do any of this. Another thing about me is I will make a video and I will say, oh, I should do this. And then I never do it. And I'm too much of an old dog to learn the new trick of actually doing something that I say I should do. That's what I believe anyway. Maybe I'll prove myself wrong and actually do it, but I doubt it. There was a point to this. The point to this was that even at 56, I was able to add to my whole corral or whatever corral's a really horrible word. My whole collection of physical elements with this Louis DeMarco thing, back and control the speed with the jab, with the final forward jab. That's new to me. If it's old to me, I've forgotten about it over the years. Doesn't surprise me at all either. But so that was kind of the main point I wanted to make. The other one I want to make was, look, I'm never going to win Derby or win the U.S. Open or be a professional player or anything like that. And I know this, and I've known this about myself for a long time. So all I'm trying to do with playing pool is stay a little bit healthy, keep my mind a little bit sharp, and have fun. I'm trying to have fun. And what I have found is I have fun messing with all these things I have written on my board. I have fun. I have 27 pool cues over on my wall. I have fun picking up another pool cue every now and then and shooting with it. I have fun buying a new, like a carbon fiber shaft. I've tried all those. I have fun doing stuff like that. So probably that's the most important thing, is keep having fun. And that's what I am really trying to do. Because if I wasn't having any fun, but would I even bother continuing to try to do that stuff? Or would I even bother trying to, different cues, buying different cues and things like that? I don't think I would. I would hope that I would. I would hope if I thought it sucked, that I wouldn't do it. So I think the most important thing about it all is just have fun. I know my place. I know how good I'm going to get. I believe I probably peaked. Just because I'm older and eyesight goes bad and the knees start to make noises that you never thought they could make and things like that. If I haven't peaked, I'm pretty close to it. But I can still continue to have fun. And one of the ways I continue to have fun is by just trying different shit, trying new stuff, rehashing old stuff that I remember having fun with before. I have books. I'm digressing from pool for a second here, but I have science fiction books over here on the wall that I've had for 50 years. And it's not like I read it once when I was 7 years old and read it and never read it again. No, I'll pick up a book. I remember really liking this book, and I'll read it again. I do this because it's fun for me. And that's why I do a lot of the stuff that I do with pool. Not so I can get ready for next year's U.S. Open. Not so I can, get on the Mosconi Cup. No, I know better than that. I really do know better than that. But I can still have fun. I really think that I can. I went to Derby in 2020. That's the last time they had one. And I know I'm yammering, but by God, it's my camera, and I'm going to yammer. So 2020, I went to Derby, and I had the best bank pool that I'd ever had there. I don't know if I finished better than I ever have in banks, but I shot better. And I definitely went in there with the have fun thing. My opponents were never like my enemy. It was always, that guy is another guy that loves pool. And he's probably had the same struggles that I have at times. So we're brothers in arms and stuff. So I'm finding myself rooting for my opponents just as much as I'm rooting for myself, because I know how hard the game can be and how hard the game can even be to stay fun at. If you put your whole heart and soul into winning Derby and then you don't, then what? Do you suck? Do you go home and kill yourself? What do you do? And obviously that's a horrible idea. There have been times where I've lost in the past and just felt really, really bad. Put my cue up. Cover my table up. Hell, I'll give up. I'm not going to play pool anymore. And luckily, I've gotten over that attitude pretty quickly and realized that this is my fun thing to do, is shoot pool. It's got to stay fun. And the way I keep it staying fun is I guess by not taking it too seriously as far as what I'm going to do with any talent I have. I still want to be a better player. I want to be the best player that I can possibly be. But I'm not going to base my reason for living on whether or not that happens. Does that make any sense? It probably does. And if you're watching this and you've gone this far, then good job. Because I probably myself will fall asleep when I go to rewatch this video. I guess that's it. I don't have any new news or anything. I'm still waiting on my D12. That's the only cue I have in flight. It's getting rewrapped and refinished. So I'm still shooting with the Scruggs. When I get me my D12, I'm going to mess with it for a while because it's fun for me to mess with shit. And then the D12 is probably going on the wall. But you never know. All right, later.